Hey everyone, it's Baxter and Jonathan. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
It's Casino Guitars. We're here to talk about the Fender Custom Shop. We're not going to get into too much detail.
Nope.
We're going to talk about just our thoughts on it.
Yes.
And some main questions on it. We're going to ask for your advice, opinions, thoughts throughout. It's not a live stream, but comment, question us. We're going to talk back with you. So, Fender Custom Shop. Thumbs up.
I like the Fender Custom Shop. I would say I love the Fender Custom Shop.
I would say if you love the Fender Custom Shop, I'm not going to go there. I'm really with the Fender Custom Shop too. It almost got really bad.
Well, it
really too soon.
Could have gone either way.
We haven't even been drinking yet, much. But no, I think we both love the Fender Custom Shop. Founded in 1987 under the tutelage of Maestro Schultz. It was sort of formed as just a thing to show what Fender could actually do. They're coming out of like their bad years. They just been bought from CVS. That's all the history we're doing. But so it's sort of like we can do amazing pieces, and then they kept doing that for a bit, and people were like, whoa, we want these, and they made some relics, and then what has happened? The floodgates were released.
Craziness.
So you have some Fender Custom Shops.
I do have two.
I have some Fender Custom Shops.
You do.
I have a few as well.
Some good ones.
Yeah, you have some really nice ones too. They're really good. So tell me what you love about them.
Man, it's hard to even sort of quantify. There's just an intangible wonderfulness to them that I don't think I understood for a long time before I played very many. But I mean, they feel amazing. They feel sort of worn in, broken in. But even with that feeling, they sort of function perfectly. If that makes sense. Because sometimes you pick up an old, and we'll get into this later more, but you pick up an old instrument sometimes, and it does have a great feel, but I can't fret it on the 13th, 14th, 15th fret of the high E string, and
well, we can jump right in because we get lots of vintage guitars, and we have lots of Fender Custom Shops come through, and we all love vintage Strats and vintage Chellies. We love them, and some of them are outrageously amazing.
Yes.
Most of them don't come close to what a custom shop does as far as playability or functionality.
And we've talked about this before. There are vintage ones that aren't amazing. I mean, they're cool, but they're just not. They weren't all great guitars. There are some, but not all.
Yeah, sometimes a vintage guitar is just that, an old guitar.
Old guitar.
And it was just, came off and it wasn't great. But when we do get a great one, wow.
It is amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's funny, we've had a few pretty good ones. We've had a couple great ones, and then we had a couple ones that were really good. But we finished playing, man, that was amazing. Then you got a custom shop, and you're like, oh no, this is better.
Right.
Why do I like this better? Because this was just built last week.
Right.
I shouldn't like that. Let me have a refreshment break from our corporate sponsor.
We got the meats.
That's weird sounding.
I probably can't say that. There goes our monetization for this video, maybe.
Oh no. So so out of the Fender Custom Shop, it's not a big team. It's a small sort of shop too. It's in the same factory as where Fender builds their stuff in the US. But it's definitely isolated. And you've worked in a factory setting before.
Yes.
Now you worked at
Gibson.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I just wanted to sort of lead you there. And you worked, God, it was 7 years ago or so, or
at least, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I was in Gibson, USA. And this is probably where you're sort of headed, but
I don't know.
I was never allowed. I mean, not really allowed. It's not like the custom shop is sort of its own thing. It's sort of insulated from the.
So there's the haves and the have-nots.
A little bit
in the production world.
When I feel like Gibson is a good example. Even on Gibson's sort of rough years, their custom shop was sort of insulated from that. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, these were horrible custom shop years. They weren't. The custom shops were amazing.
No, I've played
those bad years.
A ton of them. I love them.
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite custom shops.
Yes.
I mean, I'm waiting to see what Tom Murphy does next. But there's a lot of Tom Murphys from those years.
Right.
So did you interact with any of the people that worked in the custom shop at Gibson?
No, definitely not.
Did you ever meet any of them?
Not through Gibson.
Okay.
Not till later. Yeah.
Once you escape the clutches of Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know from being out at Fender, I've been there a few times, more than I should tell my wife, and I just like to go out there. I'm going on a work trip, but it is a work trip. But
I have to go.
I have to go to see the toys, and just play with and hang out with cool people that build guitars all day. But it's in a pretty impressive room. It's because there's not that many people. It's a select group.
Right.
and they pretty much do it all. You know, it's all done by, everything's hand-selected woods, hand-selected necks. Like the fret work is all done really painstakingly. It's not just bam, 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 like crushed out. And then like their final assembly guy within there, I was just impressed. Like he did not leave his bench for like hours. I sat there and I was watching. I was like, that guy hasn't moved.
Just sitting there.
You know who I'm talking about if you're watching this. I'm not saying your name because I was very impressed with you and you deserve a reward or an award or something or a magna cum laude raise. But he was just like crushing and he was super happy. He like loved what he does do. And then you get into the master build section, which is right next door.
Right.
And that was sort of an epic moment for me.
Wow.
That's when the cameras have to be turned off. They say no cameras. And so I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's really cool.
It wasn't cool because we had our cameras there. We wanted to see it. But it was just, and it's not like there was any like thing that was like, you know, you shouldn't film for, so I guess they don't want their trade secrets just out.
Sure.
Because they have the way they do some of their relicing, which we should get into in a minute too. And the way they have their sort of setups and their benches done. But it was like, it's neat that they have like, each master builder has his own isolated room that he can design however he wants.
That's cool.
And we've had 2 master builders just graduate through the ranks, Carlos and Vincent.
Yep.
Lopez and Van Trite.
Van Trite.
It's a great name. Weird guy. I don't know if I can trust him. But
it's a little sketchy. We love him. We love him.
And, yeah, they're both extremely attractive men too.
Yes.
Carlos and Vincent.
Yes.
So rest you master builders, watch out. Those guys, when you kind of come out with the calendar, that's Dangerland right there. But anyway, so that's sort of how the custom shop factors out. But let's talk about Relics.
Cool.
I mean, there's a lot of love or hate for Relics.
You know, I used to not think that I was a Relic guy. I have made the statement many years ago that I would never own a Relic guitar.
Really?
Yes.
Because I've only known you since your Relic stage.
Right. And the way that I got into having a Relic is do you remember the Fender Road Worn series?
Yes.
It was sort of like, oh, Relics for, you know,
right,
you're not
for
buying
normal
a custom
people.
shop. I wandered into a pawn shop one day, Charleston, South Carolina, and there was a Road Worn 50s Telly that someone had put a Bigsby on. And it just immediately caught my eye, and I was like, ooh. So I took it down. It felt amazing. And I was like, oh, I must buy this guitar. So I bought that guitar.
Okay.
And was like, wow, this is Relics, but it feels and plays and sounds awesome. And then I ended up buying another one of those. And those were my touring guitars for a long time.
That's awesome.
With two of those Road Worn series guitars. So then when I had the chance to go up to a custom shop, that was game over. And
what did you notice when you went from, you know, the Road Worn series to the custom shop as far as quality of guitar?
I mean, this is gonna sound sort of dumb, but when I played the custom, I mean, the Road Worns were great. You know, I mean, they really were good guitars. But the custom shop was just like everything you want a guitar to be. You know, I'd play it not plugged in and it just like rang out and every note on the neck was good. The intonation was great. I mean, it was just awesome. It just felt amazing. I felt like I was playing sort of what I always wanted. And it was a Telecaster and a good sort of like 50s style Telecaster.
And I had a similar sort of walk into the custom shop, I guess, too. I'd always been a Strat guy from my heroes, which, you know, Clapton and I was about to say Jimmy Page, Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, because that's a different Jimmy. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, like back when I was younger, and like but I grew up in the '90s more, like when it was, and I had one, and my parents bought me a Strat Ultra back then with the lace sensors, which was like the top of the line. It's when I was going off to school and everything for high school, and it was awesome. I've been playing for a while, and it's just, I can't believe I have it, and I love it. I still have this guitar. It weighs 12 pounds. It's really heavy. But then like I never really played a real Strat until I played a real 61 when I was on tour with Richard Lloyd, and I played his and it sort of blew me away. Then years later I played a custom shop by accident at a Sam Ash. I'd never played one before, and I was like, I'd never experienced that feeling that I got when I played the 61, except for when I played that custom shop.
Custom shop, I get that, yeah.
It messed me up because like once I stepped in that world, it was like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like once you've seen like the curtain, you know, like, oh my gosh, I've seen it.
Well, you know, like I grew up in a small town. Everybody had, you know, PV amps and Mexican-made Fenders.
Classic 30.
Yeah, you know, or like PV Rage. You know, we're talking like
Classic 30 is legit.
Right. So, That's another video. I'll talk about the first time I stumbled onto a tube amp. I just thought they were like light bulbs in the back. I had no idea what it was. But anyways,
what are they?
That was a long time ago. I just had never felt like different neck profiles or like different size frets. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't know that world existed. And even until I went to Nashville, I was like, American Standard at the time,
right.
was, man, if you had one of those, you were set, or if you had a good Gibson, a USA made Gibson. So to go in and feel, these chunky necks with like maybe giant frets, or all these different neck profiles, U shapes and D shapes and, different size C's. I mean, it was a whole new world that I didn't really know existed.
And I feel like both you and I like discovered it almost younger than some folks do too.
That's probably true.
Because we deal with a lot of customers that are
right.
just discovering the custom shop in their like late 30s to 40s to 50s to 60s
sure.
even, and some even in the 70s. I have one in the 80s. I think that he just discovered like, I've heard of this custom shop. Like, that's awesome. That's amazing. Well, let's buy it now though, because it takes a while to get it done.
Right.
We have a timeline here. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not going to get into it.
But the virus.
No, I'm just mean that because he's old.
Right.
And these take years to build, Jonathan.
I understand.
The virus is going to be dated. That's going to be, we're going to wipe that out. Or the zombie apocalypse has happened.
Fine.
We don't know.
Fine either way.
So if you're not going to guitar shops now just because of your scared of sickness, just order online. We can take care of you.
We can walk you through it over the phone.
It's easy.
Yeah.
No, but where was I talking about? I got distracted now. I have no idea. It doesn't matter.
The people, we came to it earlier than last week.
It's just by luck. I just stumbled upon it like by chance, and
right.
then I did my homework and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a thing, and then it's not, and then I don't know what it is about the Relics. It's not. I've never met anyone that's bought a Relic that was trying to act like it was an older guitar.
Me neither.
And that's something I've seen online before. I didn't know it was a thing that people would be like, they're fakers, they're posers. I've never seen someone play guitar and be like, this is a 1959 Strat. Because why on earth would you be playing a 1959 Strat at your local bar and grill?
At your dive bar, yeah. And I've had people ask me, usually at nicer menus, like, what year is that? Strat or Telly, whatever I'm playing. And I always tell them, hey, it's a custom shop from 5 years ago. Whatever, 6 years.
I've never seen. I've never experienced anyone that. Maybe there are people that do it though.
I'm sure out there somewhere in the world there are. I know that initially when they were making some of those things for like famous guitar players who wanted to maybe not take their, 50 Strat on the road or whatever. I don't even think those guys are really trying to pass it off as that.
Not at all.
They just wanted to look the same.
Like even when you go and see like Vince Gill or something, you go see his lineup. Like he's not. He has some custom shops up there just because he's not going to bring his 52 Telly out.
Right.
Now Joe Bonamassa, on the other hand, will bring
different things.
That's part of it. That's a guitar show. You're going to go see him play these amazing instruments and see him play them amazingly.
Yes.
And he never mess. You need to mess up more. It's frustrating.
Just like 2 times a show. Just to make
it interesting at all. Yeah. It's frustrating to stop. You make us all look bad too. It's irritating. Anyway, I diverge or divest or whatever. I don't know. There's so many things. So and there's something about the Relic too that I don't know what it is. I just like it better a lot of times. I'm attracted to it visually and viscerally. And I don't know if it sounds better, but part of me psychologically thinks it does.
So to that point, the day I bought my first one, my Telly.
Okay.
My Telly is a 52. It's red sparkle with black guard.
It's hideous.
It's
hideous.
It is in the most wonderful way. But I had a road gig that week to Huntington, Indiana. And I picked that guitar up. I don't even think it had 9s on it, I do believe.
Ooh.
I know.
So you play like a wizard.
Right. So I took it to that gig, played it that night. And I remember the guy I was playing for, country artist. I remember in the middle of the show, he'd given me this long like solo, and he comes over, he's like, hot damn, that's what you get with a new guitar. And I was like, oh, that's really funny.
Hey, but, you have to have a long solo.
Hat,
You got an extra 8 bars.
It was
Go,
great.
John, take one more turn.
But it was, because I was that excited to have that guitar, and the way I felt, like looking at that guitar, under the lights. It does something for you.
It does, and there's also like the idea of like less stuff on guitar, more resonance,
right?
Maybe, but then there's a point like if you take everything off of it, maybe there's too much resonance, and
sure.
It's like that's why there is something on it. There's this weird middle ground. There's no science to that. That's just if you like it or if you don't like it. I just tend to like them.
I like it too.
I like some of the artisans as well, though.
Yes.
I love them.
I really think a lot of that relic thing is it's a feel. I think the feel appeals to a lot of players.
No, because I like the finish off the back of a
Me
neck.
too.
And some people are like very obsessive, compulsive about it. Got to have the finish on the neck. I'm like, well, then you have the finish on the neck. That's the joy of the custom shop too.
You can do whatever you want to do.
Yes, whatever you want. You can have your name emblazoned upon it in flames, or an abalone,
yes.
or like pearls, and like you have the crazy paint job of like all of your ex-wives or your ex-husbands, and that'd be weird to do that.
It'd be a little strange.
That'd be expensive because once you do paint jobs, it gets really.
Hey.
But you can. That's something you can do. Like certain custom shops are not custom shops. They sort of have an order you pick from. Like the Fender Custom Shop, you have a basic palette, and then you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. That's when you're in the master build level.
Right.
You have
to get to that certain.
And they're more expensive. They start off pretty expensive. But you're getting one person building your guitar.
Yes.
Exactly how you want it. And you're talking to them on the phone and on the internet as they're sort of beginning the build of it. And it's a pretty amazing, the process of it's almost as fun as getting the guitar for the first time.
What I think is super cool about that is there are other ways to get a guitar done like that, but you're getting it done from arguably the most iconic guitar company of all time. Exactly what you want from one person.
Well,
with you know what I mean? Like
and it's not just the iconic nature, but what I would say at the same point is like they have been doing this for decades.
Since it was being done.
And like they can do it like at a lower cost level as far as for a greater quality than a lot of the boutique makers even sometimes. Because like if you buy these parts and try to build this at home, it's a different.
It's not.
It's not gonna be the same. It's not. It's
not
like
the same thing. No.
Even tone matching it up, and that's where I'm gonna look forward to lots of comments and stuff. And
I'm sure we'll have a few.
You're gonna find. I hope. No, I do. I want them because I like to. I learn from these too.
Me too.
And I developed some good relationships and some friends. From this strange thing called YouTube. It really baffles me.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people will start off with saying stuff really mean too, which is weird anyway. Like say nice stuff, but they'll say mean. Like, and we always respond in kindness, or we don't respond if it's just really nasty. For like, if it's particularly like hateful or just racist or something horrible or some awful joke about. I'm not going to say, but if you're a guitar player, you say a horrible joke about certain chords.
Yes.
We've heard it. It's not funny. It's the thumbs down on that one. Other guitar jokes great, like the Swiss flag one. It's not even about the guitar, but it's my favorite joke still from that whole thing. So it's an inside story. But yeah. So like I mean, that's it is a thing like that. And what else you got to say on this thing? Anything else you want to dig in on custom shops, or kind of wrapping up right now?
I feel like we've covered our opinion of why we enjoy the custom shop.
The video team's coming back in from the bathroom. Their bathroom break and smoke breaks right now, so that they're probably like ready for us to wrap up.
Like,
so let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are, your opinions, your comments, your questions. If you're thinking about getting a custom shop, either team built, which is phenomenal, or master built, which is phenomenal as well. Shoot us questions. We'll let you know. And if there's a dealer nearby you that you want to work with, we'd love to just help direct you that way. We'd love to help you if you want something as well. But we really just want you to experience the joy if you're looking for a Fender or a Fender style guitar, which is a Fender. Consider the custom shop. Give them a shout.
Consider them.
Give us a shout. Yeah.
I will say, last thing.
Yeah.
Don't go to a shop that has one that it's been hanging in the shelf for 10 years. No one's touched it, set it up, and they barely tune it. I think sometimes people get bad taste in their mouth for the custom shop because it's been hanging in a shop. It's not humidified. It's not,
the one I bought might have been that one, but it was still awesome.
They're still awesome, but you hear these things. Oh, my blah blah blahs are better than the blah blah. I played them all. Yeah, you got to go somewhere where they got a few and.
Well, then where they take care of them, where they have a good relationship with the customer. And there are a lot of great dealers out there. I don't need to do a whole list, but I'm sure our video team will have this list running over my head somehow. Hopefully just saying casino guitars, because we would love to help you with it.
We would.
But if you have some other places where you're nearby and you want to work with them, there's some great shops across the country.
All over. And
most of them are friends.
Yes.
Like, we like everybody in this. If you work at the custom shop, you're usually part of the friend network, because it's weird. They're all nice dudes and ladies. That's it. Baxter and Jonathan, Casino Guitars.
Click like and subscribe.
Ooh. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Jonathan. Piss pal. I work for you. How long is that?
Like probably 30 minutes.
Well, I want to be long.
We succeeded.
Jibber jabber. I just want to jibber jabber.